mental.
Hey guys, welcome to another video. A bit of a static one today, as far as I've planned so far anyway. Today I thought I'd show you 5 features, whether they're hidden or not, about your C43 AMG, or indeed a lot of the other current generation AMG models. You'll find that, you know, they will share the same DNA, so I mean, don't take my word for it, but they should generally apply to across all the range of, you know, the very latest A45, CLA45, obviously the C63. Right, this first thing, generally if you've had a performance car at all, you'll be aware of something called a cold start. You know, if not, you might have heard some of your car mad friends, family members, whatever, mention something about a cold start. Now, what exactly is that? So, generally, when you start your car first thing in the morning, a performance vehicle, you'll notice that upon startup it's louder than normal. And it stays loud for probably a good, you know, like 30 seconds to a minute, depending on what car you've got. And this is generally across like every kind of, you know, sports cars, supercars, doesn't matter. And that extra loudness that you can hear is the exhaust valves open when you start the car, and it's generally just to kind of, it's a quicker way to get the car warmed up in terms of oil temperatures, water temperatures, that kind of thing. And you'll notice that, you know, if you start your car later on in the day, you know, whenever, you know, if you've used it in the morning, for probably, you know, even 10 minutes worth of driving, you'll notice that it starts up quieter. Anyway, in this particular C43, I couldn't do it in my previous CLA45, but generally with this current generation setup, there is a way to have a loud start, and it's not necessarily a cold start. It's starting the car in Sport Plus with the exhaust valves open. Now, with the current generation of Mercedes AMG vehicles, it doesn't remember the last driving mode you were in. So, you know, if you were driving in Sport Plus, whatever, parked up, turned the car off, then turned it back on again, even if you left it in Sport Plus, it would always revert to comfort mode, whether you've had the engine off for 5 seconds or 5 days. Whereas previously, it would remember it for a short period. I think it's a few hours or something, it would remember the kind of thing. But what you can do in order to still have a loud start and, you know, try and show off to your friends or annoy your neighbours, rather than going foot on the brake and then starting the engine straight away with one button press, if you don't touch the brake, press the start engine once to turn the ignition on, brings up your dash, and then you can actually change the driving mode. So if we switch down into Sport Plus and then foot on the brake, and that starts slightly louder, it'll blip the throttle and it kind of bounces up a bit more. Right, the second thing you might not necessarily have known about your AMG vehicle, this irritated me when I first bought the car, and why they've done it I don't really know, and this will follow. So this doesn't even need to be an AMG vehicle, this could be kind of across their whole range. For years and years, the 12 volt socket, that used to kind of always be here. It didn't matter what car you had, it was just kind of floating about here. And when I first bought the car, I wanted to change the tyre pressures straight away. And like many people, you'll have, you know, you've probably got one of those kind of pressure gauges that you can kind of just plug into a 12 volt socket and then set the pressures that way. And I was with my friend, and I spent a good 10 minutes just roaming around the car trying to find where the heck it was, and I concluded that it doesn't have one, but I stand to be corrected. It's just not where you expected it to be at all. You know, I tried quickly, you know, just having to skim through Google and YouTube. I couldn't find anything, so I assumed that it didn't have one to begin with, and they kind of, you know, for the very latest generation, they've just got rid of the 12-volt socket. Kind of. Anyway, you know, it's nowhere kind of round here. It's not even here or anything like that. In fact, it's not anywhere in the front of the cabin. It's actually in the back. So let me just take you around there now. If you come round to the back, near the face, and I mean, it's not even immediately visible straight away, but there's a little compartment down here, which I've forgotten how you open. Oh, it's just there. And here we go, 12-volt socket. But imagine, you know, you're driving and you want to make a change. Sorry, if you want to use it as you're driving, how are you going to reach back there? Which, yeah, why they've done that, Mercedes, hope you've got a good answer for me. Moving on, the third hidden feature of your AMG Mercedes, it's another kind of practical issue, and it's to do with the trunk or the boot, depending on what you call it, depending on where in the world you are. We open the boot. Right. Normally when you do your shopping, you know, a lot of cars kind of have these hooks to put your bags on, and these aren't necessarily, they're not like normal hooks that you'd see in BMW. They kind of close up a bit. So if you have got a bag that's got kind of like a thick handle or anything like that, it's an absolute pain trying to get into that. And chances are, you know, if you've got like a really thick, like a rope handle or anything like that, it's not going in. And it's the same on the other side. However, if you lift this up here, you've got, bear with me, you've got this. What on earth is this? This is a Mercedes, let's see if I can do it one-handed actually. This is a Mercedes collapsible Now, it does open out more elegantly than I'm showing you right now. I'm just trying to do it all one-handed.
A few moments later.
Kind of push that there. And there you go. Store your crap in there, or whatever else you plan to put in there, and then collapses away pretty easily. Again, probably not the easiest to do one-handed. There you go. And then it's very easy just to lift that back up and shove it back underneath there. How often you use something like that, I don't have no idea. It depends on you personally, but it's a neat little thing Mercedes have thrown in. The next feature I want to show you, again specific to AMG vehicles this time, and you're probably aware that you've got it but you don't know how to access it. Let's start the car. You'll be aware that you can display all kinds of performance related gauges, both on the right and then, oh, don't want to do that, don't usually touch that one. Right, here we go, go into that. All this stuff that, you know, lap timers, are you ever going to use on your mad rush to work in the morning? Probably not. However, one little cool thing that you might not have been aware of, you've got some more performance related displays up on this screen. So if you go on home, and if you go to, oh, hello, we go to vehicle, and if we go to dynamic select, and then either engine data, brings up a cool kind of display like this. So if you're So we can either display kind of how much power you're using, torque, your temperatures, but then you can also display G-force and how much kind of brake pressure you're using, steering lock. So if I just kind of demonstration. Yeah, obviously when I'm sat in the driveway right now, but if you're cornering hard, it'll kind of bring up the G-force as well. If we switch between driving modes as well, that brings up our kind of G meter in terms of directions, and so that little red bar that's floating about shows where, well, when you're driving and driving more than 2 miles an hour, kind of G pull. Again, this is all like, and this is all quite gimmicky stuff, but you know, when you're trying to show off to your friends or anything like that, or you might genuinely really, you know, want to know that stuff when you're driving along. I don't, but you might, who knows. Or, you know, how often would you take a car like this on track? Probably rarely, but that's when things like, you know, the lap timer, you want to see kind of your G-force cornering, that kind of thing. That's when that stuff comes in handy. The final thing I wanted to show you is the MercedesMe app. You know, if you're not using this, you really should be, because over the years they've kind of made it more usable. If we open that up, if you register yourself onto it, so at the minute I've got my car registered and, you know, I'm sat in it, so it says it's unlocked. I can see how much fuel I've got and various other bits and pieces. But if we step out, sometimes you don't always have the keys in your pocket and you just want to grab something out of the car, and to save yourself 5-10 seconds, a minute of your life searching for your keys, open up the app, and at the minute it says the vehicle is locked. So if I tap that and then press and hold to unlock, now it's going to try and, oh, hold on. And the vehicle has unlocked itself. I like to check just how much like fuel I've got, things like that, but there's a whole bunch of things that it can kind of let you know. Your next service date, just making general things that are kind of okay that you'd have to physically go into the car and check yourself. You know, all the Mercedes cars now are compatible with the MercedesMe app. And I imagine, you know, the S-Class, you know, the AMG range higher up, you can do a lot more with it. Anyway guys, that's 5 features on my particular C43 AMG that could be applied to your AMG, whether it's C43, C63 or further down below or above. I've had this car now for a few months and I'm still learning about it, and there are certain things that I love, certain things that I hate. But if there's anything more that you'd like to know about this C43 or my previous CLA 45, do let me know down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer all your questions. And as always guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.